In this video we're going to be looking at index laws or laws of indices, same thing. First of all, let's look at a number raised to a power. So when you see a number raised to a power, we call this the base number. So the big part is called the base number and the little index is called the power or the index. So we're going to be looking at a couple of rules. So first of all, we're going to be looking at multiplication, the index law for multiplication. So if we wrote this out in full, 4 squared, that means 4 multiplied by 4, and we're multiplying it by 4 cubed, and 4 cubed is just 4 by 4 by 4. So if we look at what we've got all together, we've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s, so we could write 4 to the power 5. There is a quick way to do it. We'll look at that in a minute. Let's look at one more. So x to the power 4. So what this means is x multiplied by x multiplied by x multiplied by x. So that's the x to the power 4. See, there's 4 of them, and we're multiplying it by x to the power 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, if we count up how many we've actually got 7 x's there and 4 x's there. That's x to the power 11. So we can write it as that is the same as x to the power 11. And we haven't already spotted the quick method. Let's look at this one. We've got an answer of 4 to the power 5. If you just add the indices, you'll get 4 to the power of 5. Just add them indices, you'll get the power 5. Add these indices, you get the power 11. So that's really the quick method, and that's all you need to know. The quick method, add the powers when the base is the same. So of course the base has to be the same. See, the bases were the same here. That's got to happen to apply this rule. So that's the multiplication rule. You just add the powers. So let's do the division rule. So the division. So again, if we wrote this out in full, you'd have 7 by 7 by 7 by 7 by 7, because that's 7 to the power 5. I'm just going to write it like a fraction because that means divide. That's the dividing line. 7 to the power 2. And we can cancel a 7 from the top and a 7 from the bottom, because 7 divided by 7 is 1. Again, we can do that again. 7 divided by 7 is 1, so it just becomes 1. And we're just left with 3 7s on the top. And there's your answer. We'll do one more, then we'll look at the quick method. I'm sure you might have spotted it already. So this is y to the power 7. So that's, you write this, the y 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on the bottom, we're going to divide it by y to the power 3. So that's y by y by y. And again, you can cancel a y with a y, top and bottom. Top and bottom. And you're just left with y to the power of 4. And you probably spotted the quick rule is you just subtract the powers. 5 take away 2 is 3. 7 take away 3 is 4. So that's the quick method. Subtract the powers when the base is the same. But the base does have to be the same to apply this rule. So we'll look at one more rule. Brackets. So when you see a bracket in maths, a bracket always means multiplying. Well, 2 to the power 4, this is what this is telling us to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 to the power 4. It wants us to write it 3 times. 1, 2, there's 4 of them there, and again, and a bracket means to multiply. And if you look at these, we've got 4, 8, 12, so it's actually 2 to the power 12. And the quick rule is, you probably spotted it, you just multiply the powers. So rather than writing all this out again, we know the quick rule is multiply them powers. That's 8. So they're the 3 basic rules: multiplication, division and brackets. So we'll look at some GCSE style questions. So GCSE style questions look like this, and they could just look like the basic ones you've just seen, and these could be on foundation or higher paper. So we just deal with the tops first. So if we look at this, it wants us to write it as a power of 5. So we know what to do when you're multiplying powers with the same base. You just add the powers. So 4 and 3 is 7. We're still dividing it by this 5 to the power 5. So remember, this means divide this line, so you just subtract the powers, so you've got 5 to the power of 2. So we're just applying the same rules that we've just seen. So do with the top first. So we're going to add the powers on the top, 7, 8, 9. Then we divide by 4 to the power 3, and you're going to subtract these, because remember, this is just a division. 9 take away 3 is 6. The next style of question you might see could say, not write it as a power, but write down the value. And when I say write down the value, I want you to work it out. So we'll go through the same processes. So it's going to be, got the same bases here, we can add them powers. 3 to the power 7 divided by 3 to the power 5. So now we're going to just use our index law where you are dividing. You're going to take away them powers. But it wants us to write down the value. Well, 3 squared, that just means 3 by 3, which is 9. Okay, do check out my next video, which will be on working with negative indices.